So let's say we are given 2 points in the xy plane, a point with coordinates 1 and 2 and the second point with coordinates 4 and 2, and we are asked to find the distance between these 2 points. This is probably the most simplest scenario or most simplest question I can think of in the xy plane. Before we solve this distance problem or question, I would like you guys to keep a few things in mind. First, distance is always a positive number, and second, if points coincide, then the distance is 0. For horizontal lines, distance can be found by calculating the difference between the x-coordinates of 2 points. In this specific example, as you can see, the line is horizontal, so we can easily calculate the distance between the first point and the second point by finding the difference of x-coordinates. The x-coordinates that we have are number 4 and number 1. So the distance would be 4 minus 1, which is 3, or I will subtract 4 from number 1 and I will get a negative 3. However, if you remember, distance is always a positive number, so we will take the absolute value of negative 3 to get the right value for distance. For vertical lines, we can find the distance by calculating the difference between y-coordinates. Here I have an example of a vertical line on the screen. This line segment has 2 points, 1 and 4, and the second point has coordinates 1 and negative 2. Since it's a vertical line, we can find the distance by calculating the difference between the y-coordinates of both points, which in this case would be 4 and negative 2. So the difference would be 4 minus 2, which gives me 6. As you may recall, the distance is always a positive number, so if I was to subtract 4 from negative 2, I will get a negative number. Let's take a look at that real quick. I'll get a negative 6. However, since distance is always a positive number, for us to get the right value for distance, we will take the absolute value of negative 6, hence the distance becomes 6. You can also calculate the difference between y-coordinates by looking at this graph visually. As you can see that this vertical line is 4 units above x-axis, these are 4 units, and 2 units below x-axis, and adding 4 and 2 gives us the same distance, which is 6.